What's good, y'all? Rich Sosa back in the building with another banger, man. So first things first, before we go ahead and get started, I just want to go ahead and say thank you, God, for giving me this opportunity. Thank y'all for the support. And man, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Anybody who wants to join the Rich Gang family, be sure to go ahead and turn on post notifications, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below when done. Now, as y'all can see by the looks of the title and the screen today, I'm going to be bringing y'all the top 3 most broken, rare, small forward builds on NBA 2K22 Next Gen. So let's go ahead and get started. First things first, I am bringing y'all none other than the two-way pass first wing build. So what you want to go ahead and do when it comes down to the making of this build, go ahead and put it under the small forward position, of course. From there, I'm going to go ahead and put this build with a height of 6'7", and if you want to go ahead and still look at the physicals, check out the top right of the screen. Then with the weight, I'm going to go with 181 with a 7'1" wingspan. Now, this is pretty much what the build is going to be looking like for the physicals. If you feel like changing anything up, you definitely have the freedom to do so, but I warn you, you have the potential to also change the build name if you go ahead and going about it that way. So right here, as you can see, with the finishing, we're going to be able to get at least 22 badges with pro contact dunks once we do adjust our vertical. Now, when it comes down to the shooting, I'm going to go with an 82 mid-range. If you go anything higher, the build name is going to change. 82 three-pointer as well. And that's going to bring us up to a total of 24 badges. As for the free throw, I put it to a 77. That's really optional. Then for the playmaking, as you can see, we get a total of 26 badges. Now, last things we got to go ahead and get after is going to be the defensive end. As you can see, a total of 29 defensive badges, and this is without even including the extra badge points that we're going to be able to unlock from each season as well as our rebirth, y'all. Now, when it comes down to the physicals, I'm going to max out the speed and acceleration, go with the 70 vertical and an 86 stamina, and if you feel like changing anything up, you definitely can do so. As you can see, I did change up a few things about the playmaking just to get to that threshold of a 90 stamina, and this is what the build is going to be looking like. Keep in mind also, on each and every one of these builds, you have the potential to get over 100 badges, which in my opinion, makes these builds just that much more better. Now, let's go ahead and say, if you do decide to go on about making this build a certain way, other than what I'm showing y'all, you really can't do that. It all comes down to the way that you want to base it off of your own play style. Now, when it comes down to the actual takeovers, this is very specific as well. Reason being is because whichever takeover you decide to go with, you're getting a huge boost to that area of the build. So first, I'm going to go with the lockdown extreme clamps takeover. Then secondly, I like the ankle breaking shots shot creating takeover. That's what I'm going to be running with. Now, let's go ahead and check out the build name just to make sure we got everything right. And as y'all can see, we have made the two-way pass first wing, y'all. Now, with this build being said, I'm telling you, this is easily probably the most rare lockdown defender slash two-way build when it comes down to the small forward positions this year. Small forwards are really broken. Then when we go ahead and get into the second build lined up for y'all, I'm telling you, another great build in store, and this one's going to be called the points forward. But with this one, we're going to be able to get that post scoring takeover, which is really going to change up how others are going to be playing you on this build, especially in takeover, y'all. Just imagine a dribble guide 6'7" point forward that's going to be able to post people up at ease. Doesn't matter the height, because once you get that takeover, the post scoring is very toxic and very overpowered. So now I just want to go ahead and say thank y'all to those of you who are still watching and made it to the second build. Go ahead and comment down RGF if you are still here watching. I really appreciate interacting with y'all. More so than anything, I love bringing y'all the best builds that you can possibly find, as well as with being rare. Now, of course, you want to go ahead and put this build under the small forward position. Then, once we go ahead and get into the height, weight, and wingspan, for me, I'm really liking how 6'7" is going to look on a majority of all small forwards. Then for the weight, I'm going to go with 181 with a 7'1" wingspan and the body shape of builds, y'all. Now, once we go ahead and get into the breakdown of the actual attributes, just know you can really make any of these builds based off of your own preference. The only thing that I would highly recommend is making sure you make the build how I make it first, and then after, you can go ahead and change anything based off of your own playstyle as well as how you want to make it. Now, for me, I'm going to go ahead and say, for the finishing, this is looking really solid. We're going to be able to get pro contact dunks as well as that post scoring takeover with Hall of Fame back down Punisher for the badge. Now, I like the 25 total badge count for the finishing. When it comes down to the shooting, I'm going to go ahead and go with an 82 midi as well as an 82 three-pointer. From there, it really comes down to if you want to adjust the shooting, but I feel like this is going to be the perfect threshold for it. A total of 24 badges as well at that. Now, let's go ahead and get into the playmaking. As you can see, we are going to be able to get a good amount of playmaking badges. So, 28 in total right here, 92 pass accuracy, then we max out both the ball handle and speed with ball. Now remember also, we're going to be able to get boost on this build as well as possibly even run with teammates that will have on floor general and defensive leader. Now when it comes down to the defensive end, here is where you got to go ahead and take some picks with missing a certain amount of attributes in certain areas. The only threshold about this build is that we're not going to be able to get that high of a steal, but honestly it makes up for the rebounding both on sides of the offense and defensive end as well as even that perimeter defense paired up with the block. As you can see for the physicals, I'm going with an 82 speed, 78 acceleration, 70 vertical, and an 80 stamina. But if you feel like changing the numbers on this build, you definitely can do so to raise the stamina. It all comes down to your comfort level, how you see yourself making this build, and more importantly, what are you most comfortable with doing. Now, I'm going to leave the build like this, but again, just know I really appreciate y'all making it this far. This is easily probably the best point forward that you're going to be seeing all year. Now with the takeovers, we do get the slashing, shot creating, playmaking, and of course, the post scoring. So whichever one you decide to go with, base it off of your own play style, what area of the ball that you want to get boost for as well, and then more importantly, what you feel like is going to work out for you. So as you can see, first, I'm going to go with the shot creating takeover, the ankle breaking shots. Secondly, I'm going to pair it up with one of the post scoring just to be more overpowered, or you could even go with the slashing. I'm going to leave it up to y'all, but as you can see, we have made the point forward build, and I love the comparison of Scottie Pippen. Now, we have one final build left over, number 3 on this list, and as y'all can see, I say probably one of the best for last, the two-way slashing playmaker, but this is going to be easily the best two-way slashing playmaker that you are ever going to see. Now, just a quick reminder, we are already more than halfway through the banger, and y'all still haven't hit that like button, so man, go ahead and do that. Go ahead and also hit that sub button to join the Rich Gang family. Turn on post notifications, and do not forget to leave a comment down below. I want to know which build out of these 3 are y'all going to make, and also which one is your favorite and why. Now, with all that, let's just go ahead and say this two-way slashing playmaker is really going to break any game mode that you take it into. So, the first thing you want to go ahead and do, of course, like every other build on this list, make sure to put it under the small forward position. Now, I know you can make this build out of different positions, but I'm telling you, this is definitely the way that you want to go about making it when it comes down to getting the best animations and also what we're going to be able to get out of it. Now, for me, I'm really going to have to say the height of 6'7" is something that I'm really liking, not only for this build, but all builds on this list in general. For the weight, I'm going to be going with 181 and also a 7'1" wingspan. Now remember, if you feel like going about this a different way, you definitely can. It all comes down to the stats that you'd like to put on and also how your playstyle is going to be based off of. So, we got the physicals down, and if you still need to see them, go ahead and check out the top right corner of the screen. Now, let's go ahead and get into the breakdown of the attributes. So when it comes down to this build, I would have to say the finishing is going to be much better than the previous 2. As you can see, we have the ability to get the elite contact dunks as well as every contact dunk in the game when it comes down to the heights of 6'7" and under, as well as a small forward position. Now, a total of 24 badges right there is something that I'm really liking. Then also for the shooting, just as good as the other builds, also we're going to be able to get another 24 badges at that. Now from here, we're going to go ahead and get into the playmaking. I'm maxing out the ball handle as well as the speed with ball. And when it comes down to the pass accuracy, I'm going to go with an 88. And that's going to allow us to get a total of 27 playmaking badges. Now, when it comes down to the defensive end, for me, this is probably the most important area of this build. I'm going to go with an 82 perimeter defense. As for the steal, leave that somewhere around the 40s, whatever you feel comfortable with. Then I'm going to go ahead and put my block to an 83. And also, I'm going to put that offensive rebound to a 77 with an 86 defensive rebound. Now, the 81 perimeter defense is something that I really like. You do have the potential to go in the 90s if you got on boost, as well as picking the correct takeover, and then even also picking the teammates that are going to be running with you that will have floor general and defensive leader. Now, for the vertical, make sure you go with an 80. The stamina is really adjustable. All you got to go ahead and do is make a few changes to your free throw. Then you're going to be all set from there. Now, let's just go ahead and check out what this build is going to be looking like once it comes down to the takeovers. I'm telling you, the more that we go along with these builds, the better they are only going to get. And if you feel like making your own adjustments, just know that you can definitely do that, y'all. Now, from here, I just want you to know I'm going to be going with the sharpshooting and shot creating takeover. And as y'all can see, we have made the two-way slashing playmaker build, y'all. Now, to the loyals who made it to the end, just know I appreciate y'all. I love y'all and I thank y'all. And man, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to go ahead and hit that sub button if you're new. Be sure to go ahead and turn on post notifications to join the Rich Gang family. Hit that like button and be sure to drop a comment down below when complete. I love y'all again. Appreciate y'all. Thank you, God, for this opportunity. And with all that being said, I got one last thing to say. Rich out.